Hello everyone, this is the Sports Spiral, and in today's video I'm going to recap the first week of college football, and I'm also going to pick games for the next week. So I'm just going to get right into this for the recap. So we started out, we had UCF winning over Boise State, Gus Malzahn getting his first win at UCF. So yeah, 36-31 for UCF over Boise State here. Dylan Gabriel, 25 of 37 for 318, 4 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. Bachmeier, 25 of 39 for 263, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, and UCF won this one by just a few points. Then next up we had Ohio State over Minnesota 45-31. So the defense did not look the best for Ohio State and they had to rally in this one. But the offense did look pretty good. So we'll see how Ohio State does throughout the season. They look like they could be a playoff contender, but it doesn't look too clear at the moment. Stroud for Ohio State played pretty well. 13 of 22 for 294, 4 touchdowns, which is good, but he did throw 1 interception. And then for Minnesota, Morgan, 14 of 25 for 205 and a touchdown. So overall, a good effort from Ohio State's offense, but their defense does need to get better if they were going to be playoff contenders. Then next up, we have an upset game. This is Virginia Tech over the 10th ranked North Carolina team, who I thought was overrated, and I feel like they've been overrated a lot. So yeah, they got what they deserved there. They lose 17-10 to Virginia Tech. Howell, 17 of 32 for 208, a touchdown, but 3 interceptions. That is not a very good stat line there. Burmeister for Virginia Tech, 12 of 19 for 169, a touchdown, and an interception. So yeah, defensive game here, but Virginia Tech pulls off the upset. Then next up we have Oklahoma versus Tulane, and Oklahoma barely squeaked this one out, 40-35. Rattler did not look the best, and this was just, there's really a time where Tulane had the ability to win the game. So Rattler, he was 30 of 39 for 304, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Pratt for Tulane, he was pretty good, 27 of 44 for 296 and 3 touchdowns. We knew that even though they were getting better, Oklahoma's defense still wasn't great. So yeah, that would be interesting to see. They can still be playoff contenders, but they're really going to have to avoid the early season slumps that they usually have over the past few years. I think Spencer Rattler is a good quarterback, but he really needs to limit those turnovers. So yeah, let's get into the next game. This was a very defensive game. This was Penn State versus Wisconsin. So 2 good defenses here, and Penn State is able to win this one 16-10. Clifford, 18 of 33 for 247 and a touchdown. Marks for Wisconsin was not the best. He was 22 of 37 for 185 and 2 interceptions. So yeah, this was a pretty interesting defensive game, but Penn State wins it by about a touchdown. Then next up, we have Oregon versus Fresno State, and Oregon just wins by a touchdown here, 31-24. Not the best defense and not a spectacular offense for Oregon. So yeah, just a 1 touchdown win here for Oregon. Brown, 15 of 24 for 172 and a touchdown. He was the quarterback for Oregon. And then Hainer was 30 of 43 for 298 and a touchdown for Fresno. And Oregon just barely gets to that. So yeah, I think they're maybe the second or third top contender now in the Pac-12. So yeah, they maybe have a chance at a playoff or anything like that, or maybe the conference championship. But they would definitely have to improve to avoid losses. Then we have Alabama versus Miami, And I was definitely expecting a blowout in this one. Miami's probably overranked. And yeah, Alabama 44-13. But how mature Bryce Young looked in this and how few turnovers was very impressive. 27 of 38 for 344 and 4 touchdowns in your first game. How about that? Derek Keen, 23 of 31 for 178, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. So yeah, it does look like Alabama's defense is better this year. I don't know that their offense is better. Some people are saying, oh my gosh, their offense is better. I don't think it's better than last year, but it could get quite close. So yeah, 44-13 blowout win for Alabama. What a surprise. Then next up we have Iowa blowing out Indiana. I did not see this one coming. I actually took Indiana in this game. But no, Iowa gets the win with some fantastic defense and pretty good offense too. So 34-6 win for Iowa. Iowa could be a serious threat in the Big Ten this year. Penix for Indiana, he was 14 of 31, 156 yards and 3 interceptions. That is not good, but it's probably a lot due to Iowa's great defense. Petrus for Iowa, he was 13 of 27 for 145 yards. So Iowa gets a big win here. Then next up, we have Texas versus Louisiana, and Sarkisian got a win in its first start, 38-18 in this one. So a pretty good start for Sarkisian's head coaching career at Texas. Lewis for Louisiana, he was 28 of 40 for 282 yards and a touchdown. Card for Texas, he was 14 of 21 for 224 yards and 2 touchdowns. Robinson for Texas, he had 20 carries for 103 yards and a touchdown, so that was a pretty good game for him. So yeah, a good win there for Texas. The next game, it is Florida versus FAU. Florida lost a ton of their weapons from last year, including Kyle Trask, Kyle Pitts, Kadarius Toney. So a much weaker offense this year for Florida, but it does look like their defense is getting a bit better, even though they allowed 14 points, which were just some of those late game points. And FAU, their quarterback Perry, was pretty good, 19 of 33 for 261 and a touchdown. But like I said, Florida's defense did look a little better, or they were going against a team that is not as good as SEC competition. Emory Jones for Florida, he was okay, 17 of 27 for 113 yards, a touchdown, but 2 interceptions, so that is not a good passing attack for Florida. But how about Anthony Richardson for Florida? He showed his power on the ground. 7 carries for 160 yards and a touchdown. So it's going to be tempting to go against starting Richardson for Florida, who is named their starter Jones. So yeah, Florida won that 35-14. Rushing attack looked great. Great defense looked better, but the passing offense did not look the best for Florida. Then we have the game of the weekend. This was Georgia versus Clemson. No offensive touchdowns scored. This was a crazy game. Georgia's defense just looked so suffocating good. Clemson's looked pretty good too. But that pick six, really the only thing here. Daniels for Georgia was not great. 22 of 30 for 135 and a pick. But he didn't make too many mistakes. Uiagalelei, he was 19 of 37 for 178 and a pick. But yeah, Clemson's offense didn't look as good as we think. And everybody's saying, oh, Clemson's done. They're never going to win anything again. So I don't think they'll make the playoff this season. But they're not done. They're going to be pretty good next year, I would think. And Georgia does have a great defense. So I don't think Clemson's done. But I think Georgia really has a shot here. Maybe to compete with Alabama, but definitely to get in the playoff. Then next up, we have an upset game. This was Montana getting the win over Washington, 13-7. This was quite a surprise. Yeah, I was not expecting this one. Yeah, the FCS school gets it done. Montana, 12 of 23 for 105 yards. Washington, Morris was 27 of 46 for 226 and 3 interceptions, so that was not good. Washington, known for being a defensive team, but this has got to be disappointing and embarrassing. Losing 13-7, it's a ranked team to an FCS school. So then, next up we have Texas A&M going against Kent State. They were able to handle them 41-10. Keene, the new starter for Texas A&M, he was okay. 21 of 33 for 292, 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. But on the ground, a chain kept it going. 12 carries for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. For Kent State, Crum was 12 of 26 for 89 yards and 2 interceptions, so he was not good. And yeah, Texas A&M looked pretty good in this one. And Keene will have to develop throughout the season, though. And then the next one, it's UCLA beating LSU 38-27. So yeah, I thought LSU was going to be a bit better of a team than this. They kind of finished a bit stronger last year, but no, they don't look the best team. UCLA, it's probably the best team in the Pac-12. They're finally getting their moment. They win 38-27 here. Thompson Robinson was good. 9 of 16 for 260, 3 touchdowns and a pick. And then for LSU, Johnson, he was pretty good as well. 26 of 46 for 330, 3 touchdowns and an interception. But UCLA gets this one done, and they will probably be the top team in the Pac-12. Will they have a chance at the playoff, like getting into the playoff? Maybe, but they have to play really well. I don't think they're going to have the strongest schedule, although that was a pretty good quality win there. And so, yeah, let's keep moving on. We have Notre Dame winning a close one against FSU in overtime, 41-38. I was not expecting it to be this close. I thought FSU could keep it close. But, yeah, Notre Dame's defense didn't look great, but Jack Cohn did. 26 of 35 for 366 yards, 4 touchdowns and a pick. FSU, their passing attack was not the best. Travis, 9 of 19 for 130, 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. But they did have a good ground attack with Corbin, who carried it 15 times for 144 yards and a touchdown. And Mackenzie Milton played in this one. You know him from UCF. He had that gruesome injury, but just amazing that he could get back, and he played pretty well too. So yeah, Notre Dame gets this one done in a close one for Florida State. Takeaways from this one: Notre Dame's not going to be as good as they were in the past. Florida State, they look like they're on the way up though. And then next up we have Ole Miss handling Louisville here, 43-24. Their defense looked much better. About half of the team of Louisville got targeted penalties and they were ejected. For Louisville, Cunningham, 22 of 37 for 191 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He also rushed it 18 times for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. Matt Corral, 22 of 32 for 381 and a touchdown. And then Ole Miss, Connor carried it 8 times for 60 yards and a touchdown. So the offense still looks good for Ole Miss, but the defense is a little better than last year. So Ole Miss could potentially be a threat, although they are in a really tough conference, the SEC. So they probably will not be too much of a threat yet. But over the next few years, they could definitely get into a pretty good team. So overall, week 1 of college football was pretty good. I'm just going to get right into picking the week 2 games and previewing them. So I'm going to get into the top 25 picks first. I'll start with Utah versus BYU. And yeah, I just think Utah had the edge here. They are a ranked team, and I've got them in a close one, 34-27 over BYU. BYU's just not as good as last year without Zach Wilson. Then I have Florida versus USF, and Florida, they looked pretty good in their first game in a few areas. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, they had a great running game. Their passing game did not look the best, but their defense looked better than last season. I've got the Gators in this one 38. I don't think they'll put up a ton of points, to 14 over USF. And then we have a really good game. I think this is where game day is. This is Iowa versus Iowa State, the in-state rivals. Iowa's defense has just looked so great over the years, and their offense is pretty good too. And then we have Iowa State, which, yeah, they have a good offense, one they can get going with Purdy and Hall. So yeah, I won this one with defense. So I've got, number 10 Iowa 20 and number 9 Iowa State 17. I've got Iowa in this one. And then we have Alabama just going against Mercer in a little tune-up game just to make sure that the Miami game wasn't a fluke. I don't think it was. I've got Alabama in a blowout here, 63-7. No problem for Alabama in this one. Then we have Georgia going against UAB, and yeah, another blowout here. I think Georgia's offense will finally get going. I think they will score 45 points here against UAB. I think they can do that well. Offensively, it's just going against a pretty good Clemson defense, and I think they'll get it back on track here, winning 45-3 over UAB with a great defensive showing as well, because their defense looks like it's probably the best in the country. Then next up we have Texas A&M against Colorado. Texas A&M is ranked number 5 now, and I don't think they'll have much of a problem versus Colorado. Haynes King will still have to get used to things a little, so I've got them winning 31-14 in that one over Colorado. And then we have Oklahoma going against West Carolina. Defense didn't look the best for Oklahoma against Tulane. It will be better against West Carolina. Obviously, I think Rattler will get things going. They'll put up a ton of points. I've got Oklahoma big over West Carolina, 63-14. And then we have another good game. This is Oregon versus Ohio State. So Ohio State, they looked okay in their season opener. The offense looked pretty good, but the defense needs improvement. Oregon, they didn't look the best going against Fresno State, but they still could be a threat in the Pac-12. But I've got Ohio State handling Oregon with relative ease, 38-21. I think Ohio State gets this one done and solidifies a chance to get into the college football playoff, which I think they can do if they play well this season. And then we have Texas going against Arkansas. Can Texas get 2 wins in a row here under Sarkisian? I think they can. It's not going to be easy against Arkansas. I've got Texas here in a closer game than some people might think, 31-21 over Arkansas. And then we have USC going against Stanford. Stanford did not look good versus K-State, and USC has looked like one of the better teams in the Pac-12. So I've got USC handling Stanford here, 35-14. And then Miami, they were blown out by Alabama in week 1. I think they will handle Appalachian State here. 34-14 is my pick. Could be maybe a little closer, but I don't think App State will give Miami much of a problem. And then we have the other picks that are not ranked teams. Pittsburgh is going against Tennessee, and Tennessee under Hypo, they are looking better, I would say, but I do not think they could beat Pittsburgh. Who knows? This one could go either way, but I've got Pitt 31-28 over Tennessee. And then we have Mississippi State versus NC State. I think this is a pretty interesting matchup. So Mississippi State, one of the bottom tier teams in the SEC, but I think they can hang with NC State. I've got NC State 35-31. I've got them winning this one though. So then we have Illinois versus Virginia, and I think Virginia will be able to beat Illinois here 30-17, and yeah, maybe it'll be a bit better of a week for the ACC, which really struggled last week. Then we have another SEC matchup. This is Missouri going against Kentucky. Kentucky, they played pretty well. They scored a good amount of points in their opener, and that was a shutout, I believe. Yeah, so I've got Missouri over Kentucky, though I think Missouri gets this one done. This one, it's another one that could go either way, though. So, yeah, I've got Missouri there, 27-24. And then the next game, we have Washington going against Michigan. And so, yeah, Washington, disappointing loss to open. But can they get back? I don't think so. They might be able to. But they have good defense, so maybe that'll work. But I've got Michigan in this one in a low-scoring game, 20-17. And by the way, the score of that Kentucky game against ULM was 45-10. So yeah, I think Missouri will be able to win that one for Kentucky. That's going to do it for this Week 1 review and Week 2 preview video. I will be doing the same sort of thing for the NFL, where I have the review and the preview all in one video, just to make it a little easier for me. So yep, that's going to do it for this video. Please make sure to subscribe and like. And this is the Sports Spiral. Bye.